Hi everybody, it's Don the AS Lifter. I want to do a video on something that I was never instructed or taught when I was a child. Something I learned as a little bit older, as a man. It's almost 50, and something I wish I would have learned and could have instilled in my late teens, early 20s. But here's the message, or here it goes. Generational wealth, or wealth as a whole, isn't built upon one generation. Hear me out. There is no get rich quick scheme. There is no Ponzi idea of, hey, I can get rich tomorrow. I'm not saying it will not happen or it's physically or impossible. I'm just saying reality is it's not. There are a few exceptions. There's every now and then a guy creates Amazon, becomes rich in a generation, or a guy creates Microsoft, or like Bill Gates, or like the guy that created Apple, Steve Jobs. But those are very few and far between people. In reality, wealth is built over generations. So my message to everybody out there is stop looking for the easy way. Stop thinking there's an easier way of doing it. Stop thinking it's just bam, it's going to happen. You have to work, you have to strive, and you have to grind. And in doing this, you may not become rich in your lifetime. Your kids may not become rich in their lifetime, or maybe even not your grandkids. But at some point and some time, if this message is instilled into your kids that I, the dad, am responsible for leaving more for my children than my parents left for me. Plain and simple. It's my kids' job to take what I leave for them or what I give them, build upon it, and leave more for my grandkids than my kids have. Generation upon generation upon generation. This is how the Rockefellers did it. This is how all these people in history, these very wealthy, extremely rich families, this is how they did it. They didn't start out with it. They built it over generations. The message I can give to anybody out there listening, especially I'm hoping this finds my kids later in life, is wealth is built over generations. Success is built over generations. Me, without any background, without my father being supportive, dad was a piece of crap. My mom tried. My mom was a single working mom. She tried. She became successful in her mind, or in her right, compared to what she was, her upbringing, her background. I, in turn, have become successful considering the way I was brought up to become a better man than my dad was, a better father than my father was. But I'm not to where I need to be. I was never instilled or taught the principle of wealth is built over generations. I want to keep saying that over and over again. Wealth is built over generations. Anybody out there that's listening to this, if you want to get out of the rut, if you want to make it to where every man's desire is your kids don't have to struggle like you do. Your kids don't have to face the same hardships you had to face. Your family shouldn't have to deal or be sacrificed things that you had to sacrifice as a young man or a young woman. It shouldn't happen. The only way it's going to happen or prevent that from continuing is break the cycle of I am going to spend my money, die, leave a little bit for my kids. They'll fight over it. They're going to spend it. They're going to build a little bit more wealth. They're going to die. Their kids are going to fight over it, split it. That's the shit that's what's happening. This is why we have so many different classes. This is why some families are successful and some families are not. This isn't something they teach you in school. This isn't something the government's going to teach you. This isn't something that I was taught at all. I had to learn this by watching and seeing and noticing what I've noticed in my business world, in my business life. For people that don't know anything about me, I had, a bad experience growing up. Came from an abusive father. My mother was a single working mother. I struggled. I fought. I educated myself the best I could. I worked my way through school the best I could. I never graduated college. I was destined for failure in every facet, shape, direction, or anything you could do. I was just destined for failure. I'm now after hard work of many, many years of struggling, learning, and understanding and watching guys do business and learning from them and being a student of my industry. And keep in mind, I'm saying my industry. I specialize in my industry. I'm by far no expert in other industries or other types of business. In my business, I became a student or an expert of what goes on. And in doing this, I worked myself from a welder in a shop, beginning not knowing nothing, up through night classes, continuing education, into sales, into success. And now I'm the vice president of my company. Let that sink in. I came from the bottom. I'm now the vice president of my company. The only people I report to are the owners of my company. They have been wealthed. The company I work for, which these guys are great guys. I don't want to take anything from them. They're very down to earth, very humble people, and very good to the employees. But the wealth was built over generations. The company is in its third generation, or going into its third generation of ownership. It's the wealth was built over generations. That's the whole message I want to try to explain to people. If I want to break the cycle of the way I was raised and the way I grew up and the struggles I had to endure, being an only child of a single mom that had worked 2 to 3 jobs. There's times I was 5, 6, 7, 8 years old at home by myself, making my own dinner, having to do what I had to do as a child so my mom could support and put things on the table. This was the reality of the life I came from. Later in life, my mom was very successful. She married a guy that, they had a successful point in their life. My mom today, house is paid for, car is paid for. She works a very good job. She could retire if she wants to, but she chooses not to because she wants to keep building generational wealth. But this is something that I was still never taught. And it bothered me over the last few weeks because as a dad, and I'm raising 2 boys, I have to instill in my kids, who by far have never experienced any things I did as a child. I've shielded them from that. But I also hindered them from understanding the desire and the will that they have to succeed beyond what I'm going to succeed to. They have to carry the torch further than I can carry it. They have to take what I leave them and advance it generations in the future. I'm not doing what I'm doing for me. I'm not doing what I'm doing just for my kids. I'm doing what I'm doing because I'm breaking the cycle that my family has had over these generations where nobody gets ahead. Nobody succeeds. Nobody goes forward. I've got to break the cycle. And I'm doing that by teaching my kids generational wealth. So I hope this message sinks in, and the reality is there is no easy way. If you're looking for the get rich quick scheme, hit delete, fucking leave. Because there is not one. I'm sorry, it's harsh, it's reality. There is not one. It doesn't exist. It's not there. But if you want to work your ass off, build an estate of some kind, have hard assets, have money in the bank, take care of your family, take care of your kids, teach them the value of $1, teach them the value of money, teach them the value of working hard and succeeding. Take that value into your kids and teach them that they need to teach your grandkids better than you teach them. And your grandkids need to teach their kids better than they're taught. And so on and so forth. And if you do this, your family will become wealthy over the generations. It's not about me today. It's about what can I build for my future, for my kids and my family and my legacy, which is my family, my name. So everybody out there, I hope this message may, wake up the light bulb. If maybe you know this already. Like I said, I was never taught this message. I never had a dad sit down and tell me that I have to not worry about me and succeeding in my life, but I have to worry about succeeding for my kids and my grandkids and my grandkids. I have to be a success that carries through the generation, that drives them to out-succeed me. And that only happens if you teach your kids that wealth is built over generations. You want to break the cycle? You want to stop being poor? You want to stop being middle class? You want to stop struggling, worrying about how your bills are paid? Wealth's built over generations. I'm in a place now where I can save money, do the things I love to do, have the hobbies I love to have. Everything I have is paid for. I don't have to worry about how my bills are being paid. I don't have to worry about if I can make it this week or next week or anything else. I've been blessed. I've succeeded in a lot of ways where a lot of people are trying to get to, but I had to work my ass off, guys. It wasn't given to me. I became a student of my industry. And my job now is to build wealth over generation for the next generation and the next generation and the next generation. You know, we've got to break the cycle. So if you listen to this and this touches and reaches home, and you know, maybe you could sit down and have that talk with your kids. You know, break the cycle of not educating your children how to succeed in life and how to be a success for the other generations. You know, this is something I have to teach my kids, and they have to understand it if I'm ever going to break the cycle. So again, you know, hopefully this message reaches you. Maybe you'll understand it. Maybe you can use it, and maybe the light bulb goes off. But again, wealth's built over generations. Stay strong, stay focused, drive on, and be a success story for your kids and your kids' kids, and so on and so forth. And it doesn't matter if you start off at the bottom. It doesn't matter if you have, you know, a crappy job. I did. Everybody starts from somewhere. Everybody succeeds to some level. It's not how far you succeed. It's how far the generations succeed after you. Stop being forward-thinking or short-sighted and thinking only about you or your wealth or your well-being, and start thinking about generations down the road. How is your name going to carry generations down the road? How is your family going to think of you, the matriarch, generations down the road? Wealth's built over generations. Success is built over generations. Value, land ownership, it's all built over generations. It's how the forefathers did it. You know, that's the message I'm trying to preach and teach. So hopefully you get it. Hopefully you like it. May think I'm full of crap. I don't really care. It's just something that I needed to get off my chest. Hopefully you listen to it, succeed from it, and take it and run with it. Again, this is Don the AS Lifter. I got some more videos coming down the line. COVID kind of put me down in the dumps for a little bit, but I tell you what, I'm back. I'm back with fire. So stay tuned. Thank you for listening. Bye.